वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. I offer my obeisance to the divine in you. Everybody is busy. Almost everybody. Some are busy at work. Some are busy at home. Some are busy over the phone. Some are busy doing nothing. Some are busy because they are doing everything. But why are people busy? Everybody is busy because they want to attain something. Majority don't know that though. They are simply busy. They are simply running. They feel that their basic necessities of life, their needs, prompt them to work the way they do. But is it really the reason? Or is the reason something else? They have not sat down and done any thinking. Could that be the reason? Or they have sat down and done too much thinking. Could that be the reason? But if you really read between the lines, you will find that most people are working, most people are busy because they want to be happy. Happiness. That is going to be my topic today. So let's get to it. What is happiness? Is happiness a goal? Is happiness an achievement? Is happiness a journey? Or is happiness a feeling? Long time ago, I was once dining at a restaurant in Sydney. And on the wall, there was a beautiful quote. I don't know the source of the quote. So the person in the quote is saying, for a very long time, I thought real life was about to begin. Real life, not the life I was living. I thought one day something big is going to happen, something huge is going to happen, and that is going to mark the beginning of a new era for me. He said, all my life I've waited for it. But there was always a bill to be paid, a phone call to be made, an email to be replied to, a letter to be written. There was always unfinished stuff. And I pretty much spent my whole life living through that. Until one day, when it dawned on me that this was life. That my life is what it is. My life is all these things. Happiness can only be felt if you have experienced the reverse side of happiness. If you haven't experienced the reverse side of happiness, then how would you know what you're experiencing is happiness? But that only holds true for the material happiness, or let me give it a name, false happiness, or dependent happiness. But happiness, in my mind, and that is purely my opinion, is neither a goal nor an achievement. It is not an attainment. Happiness is in fact a state of mind. It is a state of being. There are two types of happiness. First, dependent happiness. And second, independent happiness. If you define happiness as a feeling where you feel good, you feel joyous, and when that feeling is dependent on external factors, that becomes dependent happiness. And if your life is revolving around dependent happiness, chances are you have lots of ups and downs in your life. And chances are you have as many unhappy moments as happy moments. Not because unpleasant stuff is happening in your life, but because you have subjected your happiness to something external. Whether that is someone saying nice things to you for you to feel happy, or for you to have your wish list ticked off for you to feel happy. These are all criteria of false happiness, of dependent happiness, of illusory happiness. Before I get to what is real happiness and potentially how to get to that state, let us go in a bit more detail on this one. Let's say you are driving on the road and you just found out at work that you've been given a pay rise and that you have been promoted. You're very happy now. You feel your efforts are paying off or have paid off. So you're very happy and you're driving and you've got nice music going on in the car. Suddenly, you're on the highway. Suddenly, a bad road driver comes along and starts to shift lanes as if a mouse working through the maze, in a way that really starts to disturb you. He's cutting in, right, left and center, overtaking and totally violating all the rules of the road, of traffic, according to you. Suddenly your happiness flees away and you feel angry. And let's say you get into an incident of road rage. Things work out after a while, you take the right exit, you are on your way home, you can't wait to share the news. You get home, It takes you a little bit of time to come off that road rage incident that just happened and forget about it. Why? Because you want to feel happy again. And of course, chances are you think it was the other person who did everything wrong. If the other person hadn't been this, that and the other, if the other bad driver hadn't been a terrible driver, you probably would not have felt as bad. That's what you tell yourself. And you have every justification for your actions, and you promptly think that the other person was the bad driver. But the beautiful moment of happiness in your life was spoiled by somebody who you don't even know. Was spoiled by somebody who did not touch your car, who was living his life his way. So are you supposed to stay unaffected? I am not saying that. Although you can do that, it is very much in your own hands. But because your happiness is dependent on other things, things that are not in you, things that are outside you, you need a good news to feel happy. You need good food to feel happy. You need some sense gratification to feel happy. You need something similar to feel happy. Your happiness is almost the cumulative effect of all those things that you do or you don't. That is not happiness. We have given the term happiness to it, but that is not being happy, because when we have that mindset, that means you have made happiness a goal. Therefore, something must occur before you can get to the goal. And therefore, something should also happen post achievement of your goal. But happiness is not a goal. If must you make it external, till such time that you learn to turn inward and discover inner happiness, real happiness. Think of happiness as a journey, not as a goal, not as an achievement. When you are going on a journey, it can happen that there may be a breakdown. It can happen you may have a flat tire. It can happen you may not get good food on the way. But you keep progressing. You have come to believe that, okay, this is part of the journey. You don't stop there. And you don't go back either, generally speaking. Why? Because your goal is something else. Your goal is not the journey. Your goal is some destination. I don't know if I'm making sense to you, but if you pay attention, maybe it will start to make sense to you. Or maybe I need to word it differently to make it more practical. So, happiness cannot be the goal. When happiness is your goal, then you wouldn't know where to stop, because it is a fluid thing. Your goal should be to aim for perfection, maybe, or aim for inner discovery, or whatever it is that you do, aim to give it your 100%, within the bounds of reason, that is. That should be your goal, because happiness is the outcome. Happiness is almost like being recognized by some industry body or some organization or institution, let's say you do really good work and you keep doing it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or X number of months or years, and along come an organization that says, we think you have done incredible work and you deserve some recognition and a memento. So they give you a trophy and similar stuff. You were not aiming for that trophy. Your aim was to just devote yourself to the cause you were working towards. You were not aiming for that recognition. In fact, it may have never even occurred to you. But because you were so devoted to what you were doing, a natural outcome of that was this recognition that you just got. So similarly, happiness is almost like a memento. It's like a trophy. It is not what you work for. It is not about winning or losing. When you keep doing what you're supposed to do with morality, with purity, with conviction, with honesty, you will get happiness, and that is a promise. Because when you instill these key elements in your lifestyle, in your thinking, in your operating system, then happiness sprouts and it blooms and it flourishes, and the natural outcome is you feel happy, you feel joyous. I am sure you must have seen people in your own life who are not as well-to-do as you, who don't have even half the things that you can afford to give away, but they are happy, if not happier. Why? If happiness was dependent on anything external, how could they be, or how come it is that they are happier than you, or that they are happy at the first place? How? Have you thought about it? Chances are they are doing what they are supposed to do. It is when we set ourselves some silly goals, often material goals, based on what the world is doing and what people are supposed to do, we start to move away from happiness. When desires engulf us, when you are shrouded in desires, the sunny happiness, the sun of joy, its warmth can no longer get to you. And if you are going to continue to seek your happiness outside, you will continue to have ups and downs. Excuse me. You will continue to have those moments, which you may aptly say moods or phases, but in essence they are neither of these two. It is simply your own state of mind that's playing up. So is it wrong to seek happiness outside? Should we not seek happiness in the material world? I'm not saying that, in fact. It is your personal decision and your choice. You can do whatever you want. If you want to seek happiness outside, you can. I'm not stopping you from doing that. That may well be your truth. I'm just saying that you look into it. If you're happy with the ups and downs, if you're happy with the volatility and the vulnerability of such happiness, then go for it. It's your life, your decision, your call. My job is to just make you aware that there is another type of happiness, one that is out there, that you know, because you've labeled it, you've experienced it. There is another type of happiness that is not out there, that is in here. And that is what I call true happiness. That is what I call permanent happiness. That is what I call genuine happiness, or more so, independent happiness. You see, when something good happens in your life, you feel happy. Why? Because at that point in time, your heart opens up. Imagine an electrical wire that is insulated. If you try to pass current from the outside of that insulation, no current can be passed through or into that wire. But if you touch right the copper wire or the metallic part, you can transmit current. Similarly, when you are covered with all sorts of emotions and all sorts of conditioning, you cannot feel happiness, you cannot feel joy, and if you do, it is only temporary. When something good happens, the real you comes out, even though temporarily, and you feel happy, you feel joyous, you feel good. But imagine if you actually removed the insulation altogether. Imagine if you could touch that metallic part in you that is already transmitting the current. Imagine how happy you're going to feel. Because unless you're conscious, unless you have the consciousness, you cannot think. There is no mind without consciousness, and there is no consciousness without mind. In a functional way anyway. When you get to your consciousness, when you get to your mind, the root, you will uncover your true you, the real you. Your happiness is then not going to be dependent on anything external. From dependent to interdependent to independent. That will become the state of your happiness. It will cease to matter to you what others are saying to you or what they are saying about you. That is unconditioning. That is unlearning. You have to uncondition. And you must not uncondition at the cost of some new conditioning, and that is the key thing to remember. Don't condition yourself with my statements. That will be just as bad as the previous conditioning of the world, the society. You must uncover yourself and see your true you, the pure you. And that is important. If you want to discover your inner peace, your inner happiness, that infinite source of bliss, that inexhaustible supply of happiness, of joy. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is not an attainment. It's not an achievement. The best thing you can do with happiness is turn it into a state of your being, state of your mind. Then all you have to do is remember it. If you're mindful of happiness, you'll always be happy. If you cannot do that, or until you can do that, turn happiness into your journey, not the destination. And that is going to make all the difference. Next time someone offers you violent words or unpleasant words or things or gestures, at that point in time, you have the choice to return it to them in kind. But just remember, that is going to come at the cost of your happiness. So at that point in time, you have the choice to reject it, to ignore it. If you do that, you will retain your happiness. You will retain your state of happiness. Because at one point in time, at any given moment of time, your mind can only have one state. A switch can either be on or off. There is no intermediate state. Similarly, at any point in time, your mind can only be in one state. That state can be anger, hatred, attachment, or the rest of it. Or that state can be peace, joy, happiness, bliss. It is just a state of the mind. And it is completely in your hands. One, which state you choose over others. And two, which state you retain. And three, for how long you retain that state. If you like being happy, if you like being joyous, all you have to do is be happy. Especially if you're somebody who has a roof over your head, you've got clothes to put on, and you have meals, a square meal a day. Trust me, they are more than enough to give you happiness. When your basic needs are taken care of, then it is very easy to feel happy, to be happy, and to always be in that state, always be mindful of that state. Because everything else is basically a maze. It's a trap of desires that can never be fulfilled completely. Don't go for that trap. Work towards things beyond these three. I'm not saying stop working towards more things or greater fulfillment. That even may be material fulfillment. I'm saying if you're going to keep creating desires, you're going to keep squeezing your happiness. Imagine an orange. Imagine putting something that has weight. Imagine putting some weight on it. It's gonna feel the pressure. Another weight, another kilogram of weight on it. The pressure is gonna increase. Put 1 more kg. Chances are it's going to burst. Put another kg, another kg, another kg. There's gonna be a time very soon when that orange would have turned into pulp so badly that it can neither be squeezed nor be had or can be eaten, just like you cannot drink the juice either. And once you've squeezed it so hard, you've basically turned it into a mushy pulp. You tell me if you can return that orange to its original state. Chances are no. Surely you could take the seed, put it in the ground, and turn it into another tree that'll give oranges. That is possible. When you are under the burden of your desires, you may be like that orange I just vivified for you. And if your shape has gotten that bad, all you need to do is take that seed of happiness, put it in the ground, and allow it to sprout. Don't keep on fixing the orange that's just gone pulpy. Work on something new. If you're somebody who's just got a couple of kgs of weight and the orange hasn't gone bad yet, remove that weight. Let's say you have a nice house, you have a nice car. Let's say you don't even have a huge mortgage. Somebody's gonna come and say, you've got a beautiful house, so does that mean anything to you? Is that supposed to mean something? It will if you make it that way. It won't if you believe it that way. Somebody says to you, I really like your earrings. I really like your bracelet or necklace. That makes you real happy. Generally. And are you supposed to feel good? What if the person said, I don't like your necklace? So? Do you know what I'm getting at? Your happiness can only be affected if you let it. But if you're mindful of your happiness, nothing can affect it. And that's all you have to remember. So aim for the real happiness, the true happiness, the independent happiness, the one in you, the one that's already innate in you. Bring it out. Bring it out. Don't make your happiness and make yourself so dependent on external things. Don't. It is only going to give you agony and grief and anguish. Nothing beyond that. Those who are saying nice things to you today, tomorrow they may be saying terrible things. So if you're going to make your happiness dependent on what they are telling you, if they can make you feel good, they can also make you feel bad. Be yourself. Turn inward. Discover yourself. Uncover, unleash your real happiness. You would have understood God at that point in time. That's all I have for you today. Go on, be happy. Give me a smile. Alright. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Om Tat Sat Hare Om Tat Sat Hare Om Tat Sat.